So Ken, where are you right now?
Morning. I'm in Hope, Maine.
In Hope, Maine. That's like something you hear about in a movie. That's the name of a town in a movie or a romance book.
Yeah, one of those Stephen King movies. Yeah,
Oh,
Derry,
that's
Maine,
true.
whatever it is. Yeah, it's kind of close to that here.
Yeah. And Christopher, do you go by Chris or Christopher?
Chris.
Okay, Chris, where are
Or
you?
Mr.
I'm in
Moneybug. What should we call you?
What's that?
Win some big award?
Did I?
Didn't you? I don't know. I thought I saw. I'm terrible on social media lately. I've got 4 kids spreading out, and I never know if I'm coming or going. But I could have swore I saw something.
Yeah, I won the first place for Plein Salon.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
So we'll call you Mr. Christopher.
Yeah, Mr.
Sir.
I'm in Canfield, Ohio.
Okay, Midwest. That's nice. Yeah, you just never know if people like their full name or if they.
Yeah, on the internet, I always go by Christopher because if you ever Google Chris Leeper, you'll get like pictures of convicted felons and stuff. So.
Oh no.
I mean, I have like mugshots, and so Christopher keeps it clean, and it usually comes up with me. So if it's Chris, you never know what you'll get.
Right.
They're not. Funny. I'm sure they're not related. You know.
Yeah, you're sure, right?
I'm sure of that. Yeah.
What are the chances? That's too funny. Okay, well, maybe we'll just get started because we don't know how Jim is doing quite yet, but he logged off, it looks like. So anyway, I'm Memory Layne. I help with the social media management at Cape Ann Plein Air, and we thought we were going into this doing one thing, and then of course all of this stuff in the world is happening. So here we are. And the idea is that we can just have some casual conversation. Really, the big one is, how has your life been as an artist? I know some people might say it hasn't changed that much because, they paint at home and they work at home. But how has your life, an artist's life and art, has it changed in the last 6 months? I think it's been 6 months really, right? Since March. Does anyone want to have anything to say about that? Who would like to go first?
Wow. It's like crickets. I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. All right,
we're trying to be polite.
Can you go first?
Yeah, exactly.
And how has the last 6 months been for you?
For me, it's always, like you said, we're already socially distanced half the time. We spend a lot of time alone. So that part of it hasn't really been a problem. I know a lot of people tend to, with being distanced now, they're not used to that, used to having people around. So I think from an artist standpoint, a lot of it hasn't changed all that much. But for me, I've just dealt with 4 kids kind of spreading out all at one time. So I've had other issues going on all summer, not issues, but just kids growing up, and things keep me preoccupied and busy. So I can't really comment on just canceling the events and the strain of that, or just the relationships and seeing people has been the biggest letdown, I guess.
Yeah. Has it impacted how you paint or what you're painting or getting supplies?
No, not really. I mean, a little bit of thinking more about the meaning of things or what I'm doing or why. But then again, I'm one of the older guys in the circuit here. I'm not one of those young guys that just paint. Not saying that they just paint, but you know what I mean. I got to watch what I'm saying here. But no, trying to have more meaning. When you look at your life and think, okay, maybe I have 20 years left of this. Who knows? What do I want to say with it? What do I want to do? And then when you have a pandemic like this happening, and it really makes you think about things that are more important. I wasn't posting at all. I came back from Maui in February, and everything was just starting to happen. So we're kind of kidding about socially distancing ourselves, but not really doing it. And then we went to Vermont in March to do the winter painting with a bunch of guys. And it got word that somebody passed through town that had tested positive. All of a sudden it became like a ghost town. Everybody just took off. It was really strange and surreal. So since then, it's been very odd for everybody, obviously, but it definitely it's been strange. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere with that, but this is one of the problems I've had lately is I think I've lost my train of thought. It's been very strange.
It's easy to do. Yeah,
Mm.
I think with so much extra time, limiting even just errands and things like that, and seeing people and social events, our thoughts go to different places, especially if we're watching the
Right.
news. And
Well, and that's where I was going with that. I
yeah,
haven't posted since then. I usually send out a monthly newsletter.
yeah,
I've sat down a couple times to do it. I didn't have anything I felt was all that moving or important. Usually your stuff I want to share with people. And I just felt it was bigger fish to fry than me pushing my art. Not saying my art's not important, because it is important to me, but it just seems like there's much bigger things out there. So it's been quiet on my end. So that's been a big change for me. Painting hasn't. Continually painting, going places. It's, usually pretty quiet anyway up in Maine, except for all the painters that come up here in the summer. But that part has been the biggest change.
yeah. All right, thank you. David, you have something to share with us what your experience has been like?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a challenge for a lot of us. I miss the social interaction with the other artists and some of the receptions at the different venues. And however, I have to tell you, I've really kind of embraced the pace. Not that I want it to be forever, but I go through periods where it's like, this isn't a bad, I don't really miss the running around trying to meet deadlines and getting paintings in this show and that show. So I really haven't missed that. But it's more the social interaction with other artists. But I've continued to paint. I do have a studio, separate studio, but it's pretty hot there in the summer. But I'm mainly outdoors painting anyway. But I think it's really the social interaction. But a lot of the other busy part of it, I've just tried to make the most of this and embrace things that are positive. I don't want that to last forever, but I would say really the social interaction with other artists. I've had some. I've had, small groups. We got together, paint outside. It's easy, social distancing and so forth. But it's the receptions and the venues and all that kind of activity I really enjoy. But parts of it I don't miss, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, did you have a hard time keeping to a schedule? Did your schedule sort of stay the same other than not having the extra running around? Like with when you paint,
Yeah, well, my daughter's gone and grown up, and my wife has her own interest, and so I really don't have a lot of noise anymore in my life for the last number of years. I was in the financial world, and I kind of left that early because I wanted to paint. So that started, so I got probably a little bit later start than everyone else here, but about 15 years ago or so, so I could be a full-time painter. So I'm at a stage of my life where it's just not a lot of noise anyway. So I'm just able to really focus on painting. So in some respects, that really hasn't changed. I'm fortunate. And I feel for people who go through this COVID thing with kids, and it's got to be an additional challenge. So I feel for them. But basically, as far as the painting, it really hasn't slowed down at all. So
that's great. Have you had a hard time getting any supplies or anything that you may have needed, or that was pretty easy?
No, I do it all online, so
Yeah.
I haven't had any problems with that at all. No, I haven't had any problems with that.
Great. I'm realizing that we didn't have you introduce yourselves. And so Ken spoke first. And what is your medium again? I'm sorry.
I work in oil mainly. I've worked in all the mediums over the years, but definitely oil nowadays. I live in Hope, Maine.
That's right. Okay. And David?
Mainly oil, some watercolor, but mainly oil painter. And again, Dave Drynan, oil painter, and mainly an outdoor painter as well.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm going in order of who's on my screen here. So Tara, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Tara Will. I'm from Hampstead, Maryland, about an hour north of Baltimore into Pennsylvania, almost into Pennsylvania. And I think for people people who are kind of burned out on plein air events, it probably has been a welcome relief to like slow down a little bit, but I'm still pretty fresh and new and excited about it. And so for me, it's really hard to lose that sense of inspiration. And, you know, everywhere I go, something just kind of clicks in my brain and like gives me a little more information as to who I am as an artist and, you know, how I work. And so to lose that and the opportunity to see things that are so inspiring has been tough. And I do have 4 kids. So I have a 10-year-old, twin 9-year-olds, and a 7-year-old. So they've been home since March, which is nice. Today's their first day back at school. So it's kind of like weird. Everything's quiet and I don't know what to do with myself. So talk to you guys. Yeah, but a couple of events have picked up. Like I just went out to Indiana to do one, which was fun. And then tomorrow I actually leave. I'll be going to Jackson Hole, meeting up with a plein air buddy, Allison Mankey, out there, and we'll drive over to Telluride from Jackson Hole. So I'm excited to like get back out and see things that inspire me. So, oh, and I work in pastel. Did I say that?
Pastel.
I can't remember. Yeah.
It's funny because plein air artists actually have it pretty good because you're outside, you know, so you can sort of see someone from over there and join up a little bit. That's pretty cool. So when your kids were home, did you do a lot of art like while you were trying to school them and in the spring, or what was that?
No. So not really. I guess because as a mother and an artist, well, as a mother in general, you kind of it's hard to carve out that time, especially when they're home full time. Even just to not feel guilty. So like you're painting, it's like, okay, I have 40 minutes to paint something and be awesome now. And it's like, you know,
It doesn't work that way.
Feeling guilty about, you know, knowing that they're in here and I'm not helping and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I have a really good spouse, so that totally helps. But yeah, it's a challenge, I would say. So I haven't been painting as much as I would like to, but now that they're back in school, I look forward to doing more of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, congratulations on that. Mine are grown,
Yes.
so like my life, I don't envy anyone with the little ones because mine can teach themselves for the most part. So, all right, Chris?
My name's Chris Leeper, or Christopher to you guys. No, I do acrylic, oils, and watercolors. I don't know, it's been kind of a mixed bag for me. When it first hit and everybody was home, my wife working from home, and I have 2 teenage boys, and everything shut down, my schedule changed dramatically because I teach classes in my studio, morning and afternoon sessions, 5 days a week. And then I'm on the road for workshops and a few plein air events. So it was, since everything shut down, and I wasn't teaching at all, it was sort of the first time, and I was looking back in about 15 years that I wasn't teaching and I could just concentrate in the studio. And I have to tell you, I liked it. I mean, I love my students, but after so many years, I taught at a university for 20 some years, also part-time. And I was nice to be back by myself again. And then it was just strange having everybody home because I'm used to being by myself a lot, at least in the house, when not in the studio. But and then, the homeschooling part, they're teenagers, they should be able to take care of that themselves. And sometimes they did and sometimes they didn't, and it was frustrating. And I didn't like that at all. They didn't like it either. So yesterday was their first day and back, and I was like, good riddance, happy for them to go. And they were thrilled to be going to school. It was great to see them so excited to be going back to school. And since about June, I've started meeting some of my students that will do plein air outside. I do 2 or 3 classes a week. and we, socially distance, and we mask up, and so that's, that's getting back to a little bit of a rhythm. My biggest impact was economically. I lost all my workshops, and that's my bread and butter, really. I mean, my classes are nice, but the workshops are where, I make the bulk of, a lot of my money. And so that was really hard. That's been a really hard thing. And I still have one scheduled for next month, and they're hanging on. They still really want to do it. It's in Pennsylvania. We'll see. I just did a Zoom workshop last week, and that actually worked out really well. I had a 2-camera setup where I could be zoomed right in on my painting as well as on me, and I converted one of the rooms in the house because my studio's a separate building outside the house, and so my router couldn't reach it consistently, and so I took there's a sunroom, and I converted that into like a little makeshift studio with a camera and a lighting setup and everything. And I think I'll do more of those because, nothing's really changed as far as people coming into the studio. I've had some people call me and say, I want to come in, and I don't know. It just doesn't, there's still people around us getting it. And I said, I don't, it's not as bad as it was, but we had some friends who almost died from it. So it was very real to us. And so this winter, unless we get a vaccine or something, I'm back by myself again. They probably won't want to do plein air when it's cold.
Right.
So I'll probably do more Zoom, like this kind of stuff,
I know a lot of teachers, there's some teachers here in Gloucester, artists who have been teaching on Zoom since maybe April or May, just to sort of make ends meet. And they already had existing students that wanted to keep on because, they all this time on their hands at home. So probably as things get colder too, and people are going to be home more, they'll be tapping into that with you.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely creative resolutions for things. So, okay.
Chris, have you done a workshop? You said recently, or just the one in PA?
Yeah, I did a 3-day Zoom workshop for a group that I was originally scheduled
but
to.
Not an outdoor one. I mean,
No, not an outdoor one. But I have an indoor one scheduled in October at State College, and I'm still waiting to hear from them. I talked to them, and they said we're still on, so we'll see.
Well, I had one in Rockport, Mass, which went just fine, but it was outside. So big difference.
Yeah.
Everybody masked up. And that was a little bit weird during the demo when people are so spread out, because I'm a very not in your face kind of a person, but I like to engage people and be closer to people. And that was strange, but it went fine. And like you said, people were hungry to get outside and paint. So it went well, But yeah, it's very hard to tell as far as doing it or not. And like you said, knowing people who have died from it, it's something we need to take serious. And until they get a vaccine, it's probably the safest thing to do,
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of students who have some health issues, and they want to come back. And I said, the kid around the corner on my son's soccer team has it. And I said, what if, my son comes home and he's asymptomatic, and I give it to you, you have health problems. I says, I would hate to have, I'd feel terrible that you caught it in my studio. So I just don't think until we have any assurance,
good for you. Yeah.
I just can't do it, as much as. So.
Well, do you need me to send you a check or something? You need some money?
I'll send out my appeal.
Not that I can help you, but
this is what it's like this year. Is I just put a roof on my house yesterday.
Hey, I did too. I did it about a month ago.
Yeah, of all the years.
Yourself?
No, hell no.
Okay, yeah.
And
neither did I. But I'm just saying, yeah, ours too. I dragged it out for as long as I could, and I was finding shingles in the yard all the time. It's like, if I don't do this, we're not making it through another winter, So I'm grateful to have it done, but this is not the year to drop that much money on a roof. Right there with you. Yeah, I'm not sending you a check, pal. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you probably aren't really in that position either, so yeah.
No.
You both have new roofs, so you'll make it through the winter at least.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
True.
So, hi, Jim. There you are. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, let me try something.
A little better.
Apologize. Is that better?
little bit.
Okay, well, I'll make it short and sweet.
Perfect.
So my story is very similar to David. I stopped working in June of this year, focused more on painting, and the pandemic for me hasn't been a huge challenge. And I really feel for the guys on the phone with kids who do this full time. It's got to be a really challenging thing. For me, it's been just weird, you know. But I'm getting a lot more painting done than before, obviously. So it's worked out okay so far. We'll see, as long as we stay healthy.
Jim, remind me at least where you are.
Sorry, yeah, I work out of Connecticut. I'm in
Okay.
Litchfield, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. And are you out and about doing mostly plein air painting, or do you have a studio?
I have a studio in my home, but most of my work is done plein air. I'll often bring it back. I do a lot of work plein air first and then bring it back into the studio. I just prefer that. It's oil. I work in oils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my cat. So it's funny, we're all in areas where winter's gonna hit. So I do see people here in the winter out painting. So how, is anyone like gung-ho to do that, or more so this year at all coming up, or is it just something you don't prefer to do?
I'll jump in and say it's not always something that I'm gung-ho about because it's pretty cold out, but it's something that I definitely enjoy. Winter brings a whole different color palette. Like I said, we usually go up to Vermont, even though there's beautiful stuff around here too that we'll paint. There's a group, Rendezvous, that Stapleton Kearns and TM Nicholas always put on and have for a number of years, where Aldro Hibbard and some of these other groupie and some of these guys used to paint at in Jeffersonville, Vermont, which is very nice to get over there in February, March, and even into April. And it is a pretty time to paint.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready for winter to come already. I was chopping firewood the other day, so it's something that I enjoy, but it feels like we haven't had much of a summer anyway. So even though there's been a lot of downtime and a lot of, like David had said, a lot of good time with the kids, it has been nice. A slower pace definitely has changed things, and I have enjoyed that. And I think a lot of families have connected more, which I think is fantastic. If one good thing has come out of this, that's definitely part of it.
For sure. Tara, is it a little warmer in Maryland in the winter there? Am I crazy from where we are here?
Well, it's certainly not as cold as you guys.
Yes, it is warmer there, Tara. Believe me, it is.
That's so.
We don't get much snow, but it's pretty cold. I mean, we can get pretty chilly. I really like painting in winter. So, like Ken said, the light's a little different, and the color palette, and obviously bare trees instead of full ones, and grasses and all the things that are kind of left over. So I like it.
Okay. Great. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Or?
Yeah, I enjoy painting in the winter. I don't get out as often, obviously, because of the weather. But there's a group of us who go up to Sugar Hill in the White Mountains in New Hampshire every February. And we were up there this past February. We've been going for years. And that's when the pandemic, all the news was breaking. And it was just really kind of there was a sense that this is going to have an impact on everyday life. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that again this year, but it's a great place to paint up there. I've also wanted to hop on Stapleton's Rendezvous, and I was planning on doing that this coming winter, but who knows if that'll even happen. But I enjoy getting out. I don't mind the cold as long as it's the wind. If there's not much wind, then I just enjoy the solitude of it too, just being out in the winter. And my roots are in Maine, so it's in my blood to be out there in that cold, so I don't mind it. But I do spend a lot more time in the studio, obviously.
What's the length of time that when you're plein air painting? I guess it probably depends on what you're painting, but what is the length of time that you might be out there? Like in the winter, do you just paint really fast, or is it, do you go back, do you do a couple of days in a row?
Yes, it's a little bit of everything, but sometimes I'll do an alla prima. But a lot of times my paintings, they can be anywhere from 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 sessions. I have paintings that are half done all over the place, and eventually, sometimes I finish them up. I started a painting a year ago, and depending on the location. So many times I will go back. I'm working on a larger canvas, and I have to have the weather similar and the light similar. So sometimes it takes me a long time to finish it. So it's a little bit of everything. If I can, like yesterday, I was painting up in Gloucester, and I just felt like doing some alla prima. I was up there all day. I did a morning painting and an afternoon painting, but I also like to mix it up, and sometimes a little larger canvas, go back 4, 5, 6 times, and to really kind of take my time. Still work fast, but probably a good, brush to canvas, it's probably a good 2 hours, and that's probably about it. By the time you set up, break down, you're out there 3 hours. And if in the winter, it starts to get cold. Make sure I have a rug under my feet with good shoes, and that's really crucial painting outdoors in the winter, and good gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Sorel boots are great for standing in a snowbank for hours on end. Because in Vermont, you'll get up and have a nice morning breakfast, and then you'll be out all day, taking whatever the weather gives you for that, 3, 4, 5 days. And it's, as long as you have enough layers, a lot of times we end up putting some ash under our boots so you don't slip, because you're in an area, you stand on packed snow for a while, and then you build up kind of an icy layer. So by having some ash like the old guys would do, you throw it down, and it makes a little bit of a mess, but it keeps you from sliding all over. But otherwise, yeah, great pair of Sorel boots that can handle the heat or handle the cold, I should say, and some layers, and it's fine, because like you said, depending on what you're painting, whether it's a sunny day or whether it's a gray day, you may be there for hours on end. But yeah,
I find it invigorating too. I mean, I remember I used to do a lot of skiing years ago, cross country and downhill, and I'm out for a good day in the winter painting. I have that same feeling at the end of the day. I'm not running around, but I'm standing up, I'm moving around, I'm hauling stuff all over the place. And it's just a great feeling at the end of the day. You just feel so invigorated and healthy, and get in and have a nice cold beer at the end of or a glass of wine, whatever.
got a whiskey, something, yeah.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't find me out there painting. In the winter, at least.
You got to try it. You never know.
Yeah. I have family that are in California that they actually just let go of their studios. And so they are going out and plein air painting more. And they're like, oh yeah, it's 80 degrees today. That was in April. So
their winter painting doesn't count. I mean, that's not winter painting when you're in California.
Yeah, cold is 60. It was cold today. It's 60 degrees.
Yeah.
So, all relative. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you. Does anyone else have anything else they want to share before maybe we can do more of these? I know we have other groups of artists coming up. So you can let us know if you'd like to join in again.
So I just have a question. I don't know if you can address it, but what's the feeling about October and how that's all going to shake out? Or is it just too early to really figure that out?
I think it's too early. I think they're hoping that there can be some distance, painting and that sort of thing. And maybe even some demos would be nice for anyone who's nearby. And I know that they're setting up a lot of things for the virtual events, and online stores and that sort of thing. So I am looking forward to seeing, I don't have the full list yet from them, because it will, the things that I'm sharing about the artists on social media, I'm working with them on that. It'd be nice to know who is going to be in the area, because I think maybe some people maybe they have family here or can make it to be painting in the area during that week, even if there's no big event. So obviously plein air painting during that week for people who are out west or something, their paintings will not be of Cape Ann. So, and that'll just move on to the May section, I suspect. So I don't have any, I'm just going with it. When they tell me, then I know. I probably know when you guys know, is my guess, right before or at the same time. So I know Susan's been working on that with the rest of the team. So it's kind of nice in a way. We have 2 events, you know,
Right.
or a longer event, much longer event. Who was about to speak? Someone's about to say something. No.
I'll speak up. I did Traverse City up in Michigan a month ago, and that's they shortened it from a week to a weekend, and actually it was really nice. I mean, I was just astounded at how smoothly it worked, and they did an actual physical show, but at first they did a week of online sales. Basically, and they sold so many paintings. I was shocked by it. And
That's great.
when you turn your paintings in, it was all self-serve. They had tables set up. You took care of everything. You never had any contact with another person, really. It was just a really amazing system they had set up. And the people of Traverse City, that's kind of a younger, crowd. It's a summer place, but masked, everybody was masked. It was amazing because, like, in Ohio, it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get. You go to Home Depot and half the people in there don't have a mask, and it's become very politicized here. And so I thought it was great, and it was just great to see people like there was a small group of us that, familiar faces that I see on the circuit, and be able to, paint with them. It was great. That was really a nice break. It was nice to get away. I love my family. I love the boys and stuff, but it was good. It was just good to get away for a weekend. I think they were happy that I was gone. It was just like, we all need, because we were so on top of each other constantly. Yeah. It was nice to get a little space. And that's the one thing I miss is seeing all these guys out on the, that's one of the best parts of doing one of the plein air events is it's fun. It's just, it is fun.
Yeah. So you got a little sense of normalcy, even though it wasn't exactly the same, just being able to interact instead of sitting in your desk chair. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And Ohio, we do an annual competition in Ohio, and it's going to be in Columbus this year and in 2 weeks. And we're going to go through, I'm on the board of trustees for them. And we kind of thought it was never going to happen, and looks like it's going to happen. So that's kind of exciting too.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of signups though. A lot of people are staying away. Usually we would have 70 artists signed up by now, and we're at like 30. And so I think there's still some people being really careful about it.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder if it might be a mix of being careful about it, but also like not wanting to invest any planning or plane tickets or something like that, and having to cancel them at last minute. So it might be some of that too. I know, like, sending your kid back to school, it's like, do we send them, or 2 weeks we have to move them back out again or something,
Right.
But
right.
yeah, maybe last minute too, if there's some confidence in things going positively, you'll get some more signups.
Yeah.
It really would be nice to see some of these things happen in person. I just did the Adirondacks, which was completely virtual. And just to echo Chris's point, I missed not being around other painters. It was very, lonely work. But I was amazed at the support for the event. A lot of paintings sold. It was very well done. Again, it was all virtual. But yeah, looking forward to that in person.
Where does that take place? What city or town?
I think it's usually Saranac, New York. I could be wrong about that, but it's the entire Adirondack State Forest.
Yeah.
That's in play there. So you had a lot of painters from basically the Northeast and Canada. Mm-hmm. But our paths never crossed.
Did you actually go there though to paint?
Yes, I thought that was kind of cool. That you did have to pick a part of the park to paint in, mm-hmm. And so I made an overnight out of it. Actually, I went up twice. I thought I could do it in one day, which was a mistake. But I got up there twice. But it was nice. Again, get away, to get out and do it. It's just that there was the
the events were not in person and you didn't get that.
You had none of your buddies, you know, that you
Yeah.
just bounce things off of and have hang out with. So I missed that.
Yeah.
But again, it was, I thought, very successful for how it was done. And, you know, hats off to the organizers, actually.
That's nice to hear. Yeah. Yeah, I think that because there are many Cape Ann or at least regional artists for this, that we may see many around town here, you know, in Cape Ann in October, and you know, they can visit with each other in safe ways, and that will be a really good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll probably be out looking for anybody who who is up here during that. So yeah, are any of you going to be in the area? David, you live nearby.
Oh yeah, I'll be around. I mean, I'm 45 minutes from Gloucester, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Ken? Is it too far for
I'll
you?
probably
or-
head down there. No, I'll probably come down and hang out with TM for a couple days. So I
Mhm.
might as well come down that way and do some painting with him and
Yeah.
hang out, paint in the area, which would be nice. I love the area in fall. I mean, it's beautiful anyway, but it's really, there's such a charm to it.
Yeah.
Knowing what's going on and socially distance and all that will be perfectly fine. Cape Elizabeth just did the same thing last week. There was probably 30 of us that were down there painting, and I ran into one person the whole time. Hoped to see a few people and didn't see anybody around at all. And they're
Yeah.
having an online auction this coming weekend. So they're trying to change it, instead of having a live auction, having the painters around for that few days ahead of time, and we'll see what happens with it. So it's strange times, you know, different measures, but
Yeah.
it was nice to get out and paint and at least see one person. But yeah, to repeat what the others have said, it's a nice community of artists. It's nice seeing each other and running into people that you know and getting to know some new people, you know,
Yeah.
with a shared common interest of the arts. So there is that part of it that is really a nice thing. And I'll mention that rendezvous that Stapleton does, because that's usually a very, without the pandemic, very cool time. Everybody just gets together and, like I said, has breakfast, goes out and paints all day, and that's grown over the years. And it's a nice way to get out in winter and paint and not have to worry about judging and competition. I think Tara said the thing about the plein air events, and some of the older people maybe looking a little frustrated. I don't know if she was looking at me when she said that, but I've been doing those for a long time. And running around the country when you've got kids and stuff can be challenging, especially in the summer months when they're home. And I think that was the biggest part of it. So I think this pandemic has actually been the hardest on my wife out of everybody, because I've been around so much. So I could echo what Chris said too. You know, so the pandemic could be one thing, but having Ken around the whole damn time is going to just push you over the edge.
Jim and Tara and Chris, are you going to be in the area at all? Chris, you're a little further away.
Yeah, that's 10 hours for me.
Yeah.
So no, I won't be.
And Tara,
Actually,
you're
that's actually the weekend of that's the week of my workshop in State College. So
Oh.
I'll be a little closer, but I hope.
yeah. And Jim, are you planning
Yes,
to?
it depends on how it's structured, but I'd like to get up there. I'm close enough. My daughter lives in Boston, so I could
Oh, good.
visit, so I could make, you know, a couple days of it.
Yeah. And
Hopefully,
Tara, how
yes.
about you? Is that too hard for you to make it? or-
I was looking for something cool to do in October, so if anybody wants to house me, I'm down. And I wasn't trying to knock on you, Ken. I hear a lot that people are relieved to not have to keep up with the pace of it, but it's just still something that, you know, is really exciting and fresh for me. So I wasn't trying to knock anybody.
I was just teasing you. I
No,
love
he's
your
old.
spirit.
He's old. He's been on the circuit a long
Yes.
time, so he's right.
I had your energy when I was your age too, my dear.
Hey, Tara, are you going to provide a COVID test for your housing people? Will you be tested and everything?
Me?
Yeah. You said you'd be housed.
Like-
Somebody could house you.
Well, I haven't been tested for COVID, no, so I don't have any
I'm just
papers
kidding.
to give over for housing, but I guess if it was requested, I could provide it. But
And that is a big challenge, you know, and that's
Yeah, well,
what I
that's-
saw
yeah.
down in Cape Elizabeth, what Chris was saying, because you don't know. who we're exposed to, who our kids are exposed to. And God forbid, as much as I'm worried about myself, I'm not that old yet, but I'm close enough. But I am worried about if I do have it and I don't know, and I'm crossing with somebody that could have more health issues, then yeah, I would feel terrible. So for that reason, it has put a very weird strain, even staying with TM. You know, it's like, nah, come on down, everything's cool, you know, and I'd mask up in the beginning. He's like, no, don't worry about it. But you just don't know who's crossing with who. And it is a concern, especially, you know, for all the times that I've done these events and people have opened their doors and hosted the artists, which I think is amazing when you think about what people do. Because artists are usually, and I've been doing this for 30 some years. And I remember being in Chicago and you'd be out painting on the street and somebody would walk up and look at you a little strange and like, oh, you're an artist. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe you should get a real job. You know, it's like it's a very strange dynamic. So when you tell somebody you're an artist in the beginning, they usually step back a little bit different. This is years ago, before this plein air event had built a lot of steam. Whereas traveling through China is a very respectable trade to be an artist. You can't just go to school as an artist. You have to be accepted as an artist. And it's amazing what these kids were doing in these colleges in Guangzhou and some of the other ones. It's a much higher level. But there is this weird dynamic that happens in the States. So when you think of hosts who are willing to just open their doors to people they don't know who are artists to begin with, quote unquote, it's pretty amazing. And I've met some amazing people over these, like I said, 20 some years of doing the events nationally and even in Russia and China and stuff, to where it's really, that part of it has also been not only meeting other artists, but meeting the people that you meet through the events has really been a blessing. You know, it's something special. And now with this COVID thing, you really feel awkward even thinking about having the offer from somebody or going into somebody's home, you know?
Yeah, it's like the 6 degrees of
I feel
separation.
super awkward. So if you want to host, if anybody wants to host me, I'm cool in October.
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation is now like 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
with COVID, it's weird to think about. So.
Right. Well, Chris and I didn't get a chance to chat about this, but we're going to do a Roof Me Fund if anybody's interested.
Yeah, there you go.
You down
I
with
like
that,
your
Chris? Can we
thinking,
do that?
Yeah.
You're going
I
to
like
house
that.
anyone whose roof's leaking this winter is what
Yeah.
you'll do. Everyone's moving in with you guys.
Right.
Awesome. I don't know how much time I have on this thing. She didn't tell me. Just figuring this out. It is still recording. But does anyone have anything else to add? This is kind of exciting you guys are the pioneers in this new way of doing Cape Ann plein air. So,
Well, thanks for doing this. It's been a pleasure just seeing the other folks and connecting and getting that a bit, because it is nice.
yeah.
But thank you.
Fun. All right.
Thanks for hosting
Well,
it.
thank you. And we'll be seeing you again.
Yeah. Nice seeing all you guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Take care,
Yeah.
y'all.
I'll take care.
Stay healthy.
Thank you.
See
Look
you.
forward to it.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.